Welcome to Navigating Marketing and AI with Sydne Mullings, the podcast that unravels the dynamic intersection of marketing strategies and the cutting-edge world of artificial intelligence.
Hi, I'm your host, Sydne Mullings. Today I'm chatting with Pip Arthur. Pip serves as the Chief Marketing Officer for Microsoft Asia, where she leads her team in advancing regional strategies, driving scaled execution, and ensuring a consistent brand experience across every market in Asia. What makes this conversation uniquely special for me is that Pip is a valued Microsoft colleague who I frequently collaborate with. Welcome to the show, Pip.
It is great to be here, Sydne.
I'm so happy to have this conversation with you today. So to kick things off, could you share a bit about your journey and your background?
I started my career actually in communications. And fresh out of uni, I went down the path of the comms discipline and spent the first part of my career in comms and agency side. But I fell into the tech industry very, very early on, not by design, by default. And actually, one of my key clients was IBM. And so I think I was just fascinated by just the power of technology and what it could do to transform organizations. And so I think also the tech industry gave me this incredible platform to explore the world. And so at the ripe old age of 24, I decided that I wanted to live and work in America. And then the organization that I was working for said, well, look, we are acquiring a bunch of companies. Would you be interested in going to the UK and helping us integrate those businesses into our big business and expanding our business across Europe? And I was like, sure. So off I went to London and got to explore Europe. I moved back to Sydney ultimately and have done a range of marketing and communications roles, BMC Software and then IBM and then onto Microsoft. And now find myself leading the amazing marketing discipline for Asia.
I love so much working with you because of that wealth of experiences and different markets that you bring. So how about you talk a little bit more about your current role and what all is included in it?
I moved into the CMO role for Asia back in July of last year. And it was a pretty big change for us in Asia because we made a decision to bring all of our marketers from across the region into one single organization, very similar to kind of what you've done in the Americas.
Absolutely.
And so right now we have about 75 odd marketers that sit in about 16 countries across Asia that are all now part of this regional marketing organization. And really, we need to make sure that the impact of our marketing efforts is deeply felt in every single area in which we operate in Asia. We're sort of 8 months into that journey. We have learned a huge amount. And of course, we've also found ourselves at this fascinating juncture where we're embarking on this whole new computing shift around AI.
I think where we want to go to today is to talk about how have you seen the rapid change driven by AI? How have you started to see that come in and impact your marketing programs, impact your approach?
I think if I reflect on the last 12 plus months, right, and I think about the pace of change that we've seen in the tech industry, it's been unlike I have ever seen in my 30-odd years working. I have never seen the pace of innovation come to market so quickly because even for us sitting at Microsoft, right, us consuming what's the innovation that's landing on a daily, weekly, monthly basis is a lot, right? Imagine if you're in a customer organization and you've got a business to run. And so how do we demystify that for people? I think that has been a core part of the job that we've needed to do. And I think showing rather than telling has been core to the strategy. I think seeing this technology in action is when our audiences sit back and go, whoa, okay, I can see how this can be applied to my business in ways that perhaps I previously hadn't imagined. right? So there's this show, not tell, that I think that we've learned pretty quickly is fundamental to kind of that strategy of just opening people's eyes to kind of what's possible. I think the other thing that I would say that we've learned a lot about during this kind of like the first year of this paradigm shift is the importance of early adopters. And so strategically, we were like, okay, we need to, in partnership with our sales colleagues, find those organizations that transcend industries, that are smattered across all of our respective countries, to ensure that we're supporting them as they go through this shift and realize kind of what's possible in their business. But equally, that they become fundamental in terms of telling their stories and inspiring others in like industries to go on this journey too. And so this notion of kind of like the early adopter, how we cultivate the early adopter and ensure that they inspire confidence and possibilities as we think about the audiences that we're engaging, equally fundamental, I think, to our strategy.
Your point about showing, not telling, and having people actually experience the technology, I think is really important. But I think what's been really interesting in my experience and how even sharing the personal examples of how I am using it in our day-to-day life and using AI, how that's helped people envision it. Are you seeing the same thing when you talk to your customers?
In many respects, we're kind of customer zero. Right. We were given the incredible gift of putting this technology into our own hands very early on. I think the early developments around ChatGPT in a personal context, and even just in amongst the family, like looking at what's possible, it was like minds are blown. And then we came into the work context and Copilot, Microsoft 365 Copilot. I've now had the great privilege of being able to use that technology pretty consistently over many months. And then Copilot in Teams, I would say, has been a game changer for us. What I'm now able to do with Copilot in terms of my day-to-day work life, there are many meetings that I can't attend, as an example. And so using kind of like the meeting summary function and being able to query, like, was there tension in the meeting? Knowing that before I move into my next one-on-one is actually super helpful. And so I think this notion of, Microsoft being customer zero and how we use the technology in our everyday lives is super powerful. If you think about the Microsoft employee population, 200,000 people around the globe. And I think not only have we put the technology in the hands of our people, but we've also ensured that we're supporting our people to make the best use of it and ensuring that they're skilled enough to be able to put it into action, something that that we shouldn't underestimate just as we think about new waves of technology, new innovations, and the power of your own employee base as part of going on that journey.
I love it. And I love that arc you're describing of kind of starting out with those personal use cases. I will always share, as I've been doing the college search with my teenager, how ChatGPT helped us do that. But then moving into, frankly, how do you and I and Fiona in EMEA, how do we work together? A lot of that is being powered by AI, since it's so hard to get us in the same place at the same time, having the same discussion. So we're literally a working triad of being enabled by AI every day. And it's working pretty well, which is cool. I wonder, do you have any examples of how your team in marketing is scaling some of that message out further?
As we've sort of come into the second half of our financial year, we have embraced this notion of a flagship event as a way in which to coalesce our most important audiences in our major markets in Asia. And so for us, from a marketing strategy standpoint, this notion of kind of like a flagship experience where you can bring audiences together, update them on all of the latest and greatest, but importantly, hear from others how they're using this technology to advance business and personal outcomes has been core to our strategy. And I think as we get to next year, I think that will need to continue to feature as part of our marketing strategy, because just moving from announcement to announcement and product by product, that serves a purpose. But the power of community, the power of ecosystems coming together, we believe that the impact can be extraordinary.
I love it. And it's one of the reasons why I love to get to work with you every day and share that. This experience and what we're learning in real time. One of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation with awesome folks like you is really to help other leaders as they're thinking about getting started in their journey, because it maybe feels a little daunting, I think, some of the folks that I talk to. What are some of the maybe final thoughts you might share as folks are making their way down this path?
What I would say is I feel like we could have a whole conversation around responsible AI and ensuring that we as an organization take our responsibility super seriously, right? Like, people need to have confidence in the platform and that a set of ethical standards have been adhered to and been built into our technology to ensure that the technology is used for good. In terms of advice, though, for marketing leaders, I'd probably say two things. Get curious and take the time to more deeply understand this technology, the innovations that are landing ongoing. And then my other advice would be get uncomfortable. Because we have not experienced this before. And experimentation, and I think about the last 12 months for us, right? There has been a ton of experimentation. And not everything has been a raging success, but we learn at every step. And so for me, I would say, curiosity and feeling that sense of discomfort are both good things and are probably good practices to harness as you think about embarking on this new era.
Oh, awesome advice. I love that. And I agree, right? Getting curious and maybe a little uncomfortable is where we're all living. And but we are at the precipice of some great new technology. So it's exciting. Well, I just want to thank you. It's been so great to have this conversation with you. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your talents with us. It's been amazing.
I love spending my time with you, and it's awesome to be on your podcast.